Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I was planning on just streaming this tonight and not doing a second video follow-up, but a bird flew in our house, and so we've been cleaning for like the last 6 hours. But I broke away to cover this quick. So apologies for not being live. I will try to be live tomorrow night. Yeah, it's it's been a stressful day, to say the least, for more than a couple reasons. But we got the top votes for each title in Heroes, and as I said, I've been updating the tallies, okay, for ballots that have come in. I got a surge yesterday evening-ish, like early evening, of some very specific votes, so I'm not sure what that's about. So in that regard, I did start a post-video tally. I don't know if the second video just kind of spurred things on. I think my leaders got shared to a couple different places, so maybe some people saw that and that drove them here. I don't know. So I did break it out from when I made the video to everything now, including. So we have a pre-video and a post-video tally going on. Basically, the pre-video was just a snapshot in time. The post-video is everything to date. So that's been updated. It did shift things a little bit, mostly bumped Sharena up a little. You can see over here. And then everything else kind of honestly similar. I'll pull it in so maybe it's a little more concise that way. So yeah, it didn't really change much. I'm going to be honest. Everybody still in that top 10-ish kind of breakdown was still the same. So that said, let's kind of hop in here and take a look. Some of these we won't spend a lot of time on just because I'm looking at, like, you know, a top 20-ish situation for the most part. And we'll take it from there. So Sita is the front runner here. Tiki, Minerva, Katria, and Zane. I'm not too surprised about those, to be honest with you. Again, Sita in the lead. Chris, I think we had a couple Chris votes. I don't know where they are in the tally pool, but I know they were not in double digits. I remember a couple Clarice as well. And then you get into the Echoes or the Gaiden. I guess we're lumping them together, even though some are non-Gaiden, like Faye here. I think May and Bowie were also not in Gaiden, if I'm remembering right. But Katria being popular here, as she was in the Marth titles, not surprising. Berkut is the leader, which I think, if we were to scroll down enough, and this is just total tallies. This is not me taking out anomalies, like that one dude who was obsessed with Barst, just for the record. But I remember seeing some Berkuts. They're just not very high on the list. So again, not big here. Again, these titles not typically large contenders for Choose Your Legends. Genealogy, though, Holy War and Thracia, we have had relative standing, I think, for the most part, in the past several years, honestly. After like the first couple Choose Your Legends, where it was like all Fates and Awakening and then some Tellius and Blazing Blade, it was there was like a resurgence of older titles that have kind of just stayed within the top 10 ever since. Sigurd is definitely one of them. And Leaf is another. Honestly, Finn got some votes too, which I was kind of surprised about in here. But you can see if we scroll, Holy War, Sigurd is the top leader there, so that is not surprising to me at all. In our ballots here, Leaf is the front runner here, which Thracia, again, in our exit polling that I've done. He is the lead from that title there as well. And then Lenoan, honestly, is in here too somewhere. I saw more than a couple votes for her. It was still like not many, but I remember seeing the name enough that made me think like, oh yeah, that's one. Oh, I thought I saw it there, but it was Lowen. Anyway, we'll do a deep dive on this eventually. I don't want to get caught in the weed of it right now, or in the weeds. I don't want to get stuck in the weeds. That's the phrase, I think. Lilina, I don't think we had, like, low key. I don't think we had anybody who played first. Yeah, no, we didn't have any front runners for Binding Blade. So I don't really have anything to comment there. I'm sorry. I don't really know what to say about that. Wolt, I saw a couple votes for Wolt. I didn't think I see any for Sophia, but maybe there was one. Ethan, I think I maybe saw a couple for. There were some for Lilina. These names are on the ballot. They're just not very high. But again, the title typically doesn't rank super high. Athos fans got to be happy, though, for sure, because we just got him in the game. So, hey, they're winning no matter what, to be honest. Nino is in here somewhere. But again, these, of all the titles possible, these are not going to be ranking that high regardless. I think probably your highest ranking titles in general are going to be things like Three Houses, Heroes, Holy War. There's a surprising one here that we'll get into shortly. This, however, is not surprising. Okay. Fomortis, I said early on, I was like, Fomortis is my front runner to like win the whole thing, to be honest. Because he has meme potential, and also you will notice that a lot of the momentum that some characters in particular have is their eligibility announcement. And it's a lot like that in real life too. When an election comes up and someone gets announced that, hey, these people are running, there's a lot of buzz right off beat, and then sometimes it dwindles, you know. But the benefit here is that they literally announce it and then voting starts right away. So the hype kind of carries. And when you have big meme picks like Fomortis, that momentum can kind of push you, throttle you even, through several days worth of voting easy. And it is worth noting, the majority of down ballot votes that I saw come in through verification were Eikthenir and Fomortis. So that is not surprising to me in the slightest, that he is front running. Leon being a close second, also not. Marissa, Seth, Loot. Historically, these have all been pretty popular options. Seth as well. I think Seth is in here too somewhere. I don't know why, but hey, maybe you played Sacred Stones and you realized how goat-like Seth was. I don't know. For Tellius, for Path of Radiance, it's Black Knight, which, you know, not terribly surprising. He's down here. I feel like my community is maybe a little bit biased towards Stefan. So there's that. I didn't break them down. I didn't really. The thing that I regret doing this year with this is, last year when I ran the poll, I forgot to have a gender indicator. And so I remembered to add that this year, but then I forgot the title indicator that I introduced last year. Next year for True Legends 10, we're going to get everything on one form, though. Mark my words. So Black Knight being down here, that is that's the first one that we've missed so far, which is, you know, kind of a bummer. But I'm fairly confident that they combined them, I think, for the Tellius titles in general. And then we have Alencia and Black Knight leading in Radiant Dawn. Again, I think the Stefan vote is probably an anomaly. So, for example, if you were to hide that and you were to write Tellius here, you now have the top two between the two titles being the front runners for each respective title. But again, I'm pretty sure that the votes combined between the two titles, and then whoever got the most per title is what the character is based on, or the title that they'll inevitably be from. So if Black Knight wins, right, then he would reflect the Path of Radiance version. Same thing if Alincia were to win, she would reflect the Radiant Dawn version, and it's not this one where she's in like her maiden outfit because she, you know, got stranded on the side of the road, basically. So with that said, Stefan is here. He's still there. By God, he's still here. It's actually, is this deja vu? It's low-key, it's a little bit deja vu. It's literally the same top 5, just in a slightly different order. So Tellius being what it is, you know, we'll see how that shakes out. Good for Stefan, though. Props to him. Tharja is our only awakening option, basically in the front running here. And she is in the lead for awakening. So there you go. Another in the Tharja column for awakening. As far as fates goes, it's not surprising. The front runner in the poll for the fates category is Azura. The same is reflected here. Second, even I think, is also Maelcorin, if I were to scroll down far enough, because this should be Three Hopes. That should be Three Houses. That should be Three Houses, and then this would be Fates. So Fates is low key, kind of dead on right now. And then I saw these names pop up a couple times within the polls, but not nearly to the extent that Azura and Corrin were. Only one lady from Fates, by the way. Obero heads, where you at? As far as Heroes goes, this one's pretty interesting. I know that when I put my video out, a lot of you guys were very surprised to see Eikthenir in such a dominating lead. For better or worse, happy or sad, I am here to report that this is relatively consistent with the ballots that have come in. So Eikthenir is first, Sharena is second, Balder is third, Freya and Hothor in fourth and fifth, respectively, which I think they are down here somewhere. Here's Freya. Freya in Heroes, and then we have Hothor in fifth. So honestly, those are dead on. You guys so far with your ballots that have come in, the subsample also reflects what the actual tallies are in terms of title ranking. So I would say that is a very, very strong indicator, based on previous years and how this has worked before. I don't know. Pretty interesting. This one's also really interesting. A lot of people in the comments also were like, Tsubasa on God? Yes. So Tsubasa here ranking first, also ranking first in our exit polling. Then you have Toma and Kane, a very close second compared to Itsuki, 42 and 37 respectively. So only split by 5 votes. So second and third there, flipped here. And then if we were to go down a little bit further, I'm fairly confident that Maiko shows up here as well. Yeah, so she's there. There could be a Tiki vote. Again, I didn't have the title indicator this time, which would be pretty important about that, which I do appreciate. Some of you like did a little dash or put in parentheses the title. I do appreciate that. I do have that in the raw data still, but the vast majority did not. So again, I will have that resolved next year. Thankfully, it didn't really play a huge part this time in particular, because there was just so much down ballot voting, and a lot of the characters were not potential duplicates outside of the whole Tellius situation. But again, here the TMS situation also pretty consistently reflected here, within a very small margin of error for second and third place. And then we come to Three Houses. Okay, the front runner here is Male Byleth. That's consistent with the polling as well. Yunaka's not in Three Houses. Oops. That's engage. After that, I believe we have Sylvain. Is that really the next Three Houses character? Dang, man. Yep, that sure is. All right, well, I am but an arbiter of your all voting, so there you go. We got Sylvain, and then we got Hilda. Dorothea's here, but not too far behind. So pretty small margin of error there as well. Wouldn't be terribly surprised to see that flip either, you know. And then Yuri, who I think is also in here somewhere. Did we pass him already? I feel like, oh no, he's here. He's here. Yuri, man. All right. So yeah, that is also, I think, consistent as well for the most part, with a slight flip here. And again, a small margin of error to contend as well. And then you come to Three Hopes. Again, I didn't have this in particular. Not 100% sure on that. But Byleth in the lead, obviously. We come to Shez, who is obviously going to be, you know, Three Hopes. And then Lady Shez, again, who is obviously going to be Three Hopes. Yuri and Hilda are both here. I didn't have the indicator. That's my bad. Barst is such an anomaly, bro. Dude, Barst fan, I'm so sorry. Get yeeted. All right, so that's that. Again, front runners for those as well. Not too surprising. And then we come to Engage, which is another pretty curious one. So a lot of people were interested in how Ivy was faring in the poll. And I think genuinely Ivy was underperforming in my sampling, because she was also underperforming last year as well. That's something to note. Or maybe she was overperforming. I don't know. The point is that for whatever reason, my community has not been able to accurately go in and see where Ivy lands. So I'm not surprised to see her down here just below Diamant, but actually ranking in first in Engage. My community in general has never had a pulse on Engage. So that's not surprising to me in the least. Yunaka is in second, which, you know, consistent there at least. Just the Diamant thing, which I will say, in the flood of votes that came in post video, Diamant was one that had just a ton of votes come in and boost him. So I don't know what that's about necessarily, but I mean, if you were to come over here and look at the votes this way, Ivy is actually above Diamant here, but then Yunaka and Diamant are very close together. I don't know. It's confusing. And then Alirs are like nowhere to be found. There's male Alir. I think female Alir is all the way down here. This is pre-video. And it doesn't really improve much, honestly, in the post-video settings either. So overall, I think that this is still pretty solid. We have sorry, Zoe's behind me if you heard any jingles clinking. Overall, the top 5 are relatively still in. Thank you, Zoe. Are still relatively in the leaderboard here. A little bit out of sorts, but as far as the front runners go, outside Engage, everything is honestly a pretty strong indicator of what this has been. And I will say, in terms of total votes post video, we are right around the 2,000 mark, which is just a couple hundred shy of what I pulled last year for Choose Your Legends 8. And I was surprised to learn that, going back through the forums, that in Choose Your Legends 7, when a viewer came up and did all this for me, when I was just looking at your ballots on a live stream, not even looking at compiling this data, I had less than 100 ballots to go off. And Choose Your Legends 7 and 8 were both equally accurate in terms of what they predicted and the placements of that. So sampling size obviously is a huge factor in this. But for whatever reason, no matter the sampling size, year after year, we've been able to consistently come up with winners here. So that said, my polling, I think overall does have a pretty consistent fit with what the overall title rankings have shown. Again, I think there are some titles that just they aren't going to poll very well, and that's unfortunately that's just how it is right now. But from the ones that have ranked highly in the exit polling that I've done, it's very consistent. I think with the official title rankings that they've put out. So I guess +1 for potential accurateness. That's pretty cool. I like that a lot. And these are the updates, just FYI. So Zoe's whining. I think she has to go out. So I'm going to cut this video off now. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Thank you for watching, and I will see you hopefully tomorrow with the actual winners revealed.